Make it nice and square. One thing that I do else is I'll actually take this and file the I'm going to file this thing at a 45-degree angle under here. On the bottom side of the dog, I'm going to file it at a 45-degree angle. And what happens is you don't get drag off the underneath side of this dog when he goes to fire. When he puts a toenail on it, boom, you're going to catch it. It's going to fire. It's going to fire the trap. So I'm going to come in here with my file in, and I'm going to take this bottom edge off. And I'm going to make it meet. I'm going to make it meet the top edge of this dog here. That's what I'm going to do. This is the time to do this in the off season. You're not behind the 8 ball trying to get all your gear ready to go at the last minute. You need to be doing this in the summer months. You know, you take your gear out, you've been trapping all year, last year, and you take your gear out, and any traps that are dirty, now's the time to take and spray wash them down, take them to the car wash, run them through the car wash, spray all the dirt and gunk, mess off of them, you know, leaves and everything, set them, put make sure the pan tension is right on them. It's a good time then to also make adjustments as you need on those traps too. If you make those adjustments now, it'll save you heartache when you snap traps and not an animal in them, you know, later. So I'm gonna bring this down some more. What we got now is I've got a nice even bevel across the bottom, and when I pull this thing over in here and it goes in this notch, it's going to marry up just right. It's going to fire that trap just right. And in here, where the pan goes, I'll actually spread this apart a little bit, and I'm going to take the play out of the jaws, or not the jaws, but the play out of the pan. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to torque that open a little bit. And since this is pressed out and punched out of metal too, I'm actually going to come in here and square that up with a file also. I'm going to work that up so I've got good smooth surfaces. Everywhere I got surface, it's going to be smooth. And I'm going to eliminate any kind of issues at all with it. I'll get it square here on this side. And I'll get it square on this other side. Take a number 14 drill bit. What we're going to do is drill this hole out. This is a number 8 size hole, and I want that a number 10 is what I want. It's a stronger bolt is what it is. You can get most of these. I go to a place called Fastenal, and you buy them by the 100, and it's a brass bolt. And I always get the 1/2 inch, and I get it in a fine thread. That's what it is. And I use the brass bolt with the nut. And I got a number 10 flat washer that I use too, brass flat washer. Why do I use brass? I use brass because it doesn't rust. Makes sense? You don't want it to rust. You got to be in a pocket set or something like that in the water, and your traps are in the water a lot. If you catch a coon, or even like today, you get the moisture in the ground, they'll wick that moisture in on that steel, and it'll actually lock them down if you don't have something like it. And I'll take this. I'll put it on, and I'm going to take these edges. These are beveled out and punched out too, so you got to get these edges off of them. I'll come in here and take these until I get them nice and flat. And what this is for is going to take that slop, side to side movement out of the pan on the traps. I'm going to take it away. I'm gonna take the drill this out. That's just a number 4 drill bit. A number 14 drill bit's what it is. Now, you know, I filed this out originally, and I'm gonna come back and clean these edges up where I drilled it out. I'm gonna clean these edges up out and get this out of the way so there's no shavings in the way or anything. Right there. Now we got to put everything back together.
So that screws another 10 brass, fine thread?
It's a fine thread number 10 bolt is what it is. And it's ½ inch long. And it's fine thread. It's a 10, 32 half. It's a number 10 bolt, 32 thread, times 1/2 of an inch is what it is. Put all this together. Got to do like this too. Got to marry everything up.
Do your drilling first and filing second.
Yes. Yep. Do all you. That way you've got everything married up like you need to have it. You clean all those burrs and edges up. You just clean that edge up a little bit right there. Get that burr off of it. And everything match up. Back in here, we're going to put flat washer in here.
Putting the flat washer inside next to the pan?
Yep, you put the flat washer on the inside next to the pan there because that takes that play out of there.
One on each side?
Right, it squares up the clevis walls there where it all actually works in there. It squares everything up in there and it takes that side-to-side motion. You see a lot of the new pans, not a lot of new traps, you get a lot of play in the trap pan. You want to take all that up, and that's the way to take it up. You put that flat washer in there and it takes that gap up, and when you tighten down on it, it pulls it all together and you get a nice smooth working piece. Then that's what you do.
Use one on each side of the pan?
I only use one. You can, but I only use one is what I use on mine.
Most of them are too narrow to use two.
Right, you can't get two in there usually most of the time. You just have to use.
Without the washer, when you tighten it up, it grips on one side and digs in, and then when it quits digging in, your pan falls.
Yep. Kind of a little balance in that here. You got to get all this in. Get your washer in here. Got that in.
tighten the bottom of that trap to that tool?
No, this is just standard on there. I just go in and hook a swivel to it, and then I can add everything here. I can add my anchoring system on it from there. But you can kind of get an idea. Here what I've done, I've drilled everything out, and I've got this washer in here. When I tighten down on this is where you get your pan tension. Now why is pan tension good?
Because you can eliminate certain
We
animals.
want to catch the target species. We're after coyote. We can adjust the pan tension higher, and it's going to eliminate catching foxes and stuff like that.
He used the stainless steel bolt in all of ours,
Mm-hmm.
and the washers are kind of, you actually can put a washer on both sides.
Yeah, you can use stainless or brass, either one. Yeah, and that takes all that slop out of that pan, that play out of that pan.
Makes it like an even rodent brake.
Yeah, you get good apply when you adjust your pan tension in, you get a real nice fit on there, and it squares everything up into play. Is what it does. So all we have to do now is come in. You guys can see that. All we got to do now next is just tighten it down, and I can adjust the pan tension on it. See how I did that? I can adjust the pan tension on it from there. Then it's just a ½ inch is just right. And when you take all that gap up in there, you're gonna get a full nut on your adjustment screw for your pan tension. You want to adjust that a little bit.
David, do you ever use a lock nut?
I have in some cases, but I prefer to use the brass, because that lock nut sometimes tends to get. You talking about got the nylon in it?
Yes.
Yeah, you can use those, and they work fine, but over a period of time they'll corrode on you,
Okay.
and it makes it difficult. Yeah. If you're in the salty marshes or something down here on the coast, or in intercoastal waterways, in areas that's got black water in it and stuff, it's real acidic water, you want to kind of adjust for that, because you want to make sure that trap's going to remain functional. You don't want to have to come back every year and free it up and get it back working again. So if you do it right the first time, then you eliminate having to go back and work the equipment over. I always go back over my equipment